In 2023, just about a month ago, a taxi driver pulled over to pick up a young girl. She had a suitcase with her, and the driver offered to help, but she declined, insisting she could handle it. The destination puzzled him, a local park near the river, not the typical spot for a late-night drop-off. However, it was 3 a.m., and he was just glad she was a polite young lady instead of a drunken businessman, the usual clientele at that hour. He drove her to the park, where she paid and carried her suitcase herself. It looked incredibly heavy, but she assured him she could manage. He observed her with curiosity as she skipped into the park. She seemed very young, possibly a middle schooler or high school student. He couldn't fathom why she was alone at this hour with a heavy suitcase. He decided to take a smoke break, thinking she might need a ride back. But when he saw her again about 20 minutes later, the suitcase appeared much lighter. Something felt off, so he called the police. The police later discovered that she had been transporting a dismembered body from the victim's apartment to the park. The taxi driver had unknowingly transported human remains. He had unwittingly shared his car with a young, seemingly innocent killer twice. The driver's suspicions were well-founded, as they found the dismembered remains in the park's grassy field. This case had gone viral in Korea due to the audacity of the crime, captured on CCTV, showing the killer appearing carefree while carrying the remains in her suitcase. She had an eerie childlike demeanor, which added to the disturbing nature of the case. The killer's obsession with serial killers and true crime documentaries further compounded the horror. The victim, referred to as Hannah, was a university student who tutored high school students in English. Her services were in demand, and she was contacted by a persistent mother who wanted her to tutor her middle school daughter. Initially, Hannah declined, as the distance to the girl's house was significant. However, the mother was adamant, and even offered to drop her daughter off. On May 26, 2023, the girl arrived at Hannah's home, disguised as a middle school student. Little did Hannah know that the girl was actually 23 years old, posing as a child. Within minutes, she attacked Hannah with a knife, repeatedly stabbing her in the neck. After the murder, the killer spent time in Hannah's apartment, even changing into her clothes. CCTV cameras captured her going in and out, hauling cleanup tools, and bringing a suitcase, indicating a premeditated act. More shockingly, Yu Jung's behavior was captured on CCTV, revealing her seemingly relaxed demeanor. She used taxis to travel to and from Hannah's place, to stores to buy supplies, and she carried large suitcases between her house and Hannah's. She purchased items such as bleach, knives, and trash bags. In a country with numerous surveillance cameras like South Korea, it was astonishing that she carried out these activities with apparent ease. She brought these supplies back to Hannah's apartment, where she dismembered the victim. She spent the night and early morning working on this gruesome task. She later placed some of the victim's remains into a suitcase, hailed a cab, and calmly walked with the suitcase, drawing no suspicion. People found her demeanor unusual, almost childlike, given the grisly nature of her actions. Around 3 p.m., she loaded the luggage with the remains into a taxi, instructing the driver to drop her off near a wooded area near Hopo Station, close to the Nakdong River. She scattered the remains in a grassy location along the river, which appeared to be a planned choice due to its potential to accelerate decomposition. Yu Jung believed the taxi driver would not suspect her, but he called the police, leading to her swift arrest. Despite rumors that the driver had touched a wet suitcase, he had a gut feeling that something was off, prompting the call to the authorities. The police found the scattered remains and quickly located and arrested Yu Jung. During questioning, Yu Jung initially claimed that the dismembered remains were those of her baby, stating that she had killed the baby because she didn't want to be a mother. However, her lie was easily debunked as she showed no signs of pregnancy. She also had a colorful online search history, including searching for tips on how to hide a corpse and watching numerous true crime documentaries. Yu Jung's background revealed a troubled past. She had grown up with her grandfather as her sole guardian, indicating a strained or absent relationship with her parents. Former classmates described her as invisible, exceptionally quiet, and indifferent to her peers. She never appeared to be angry or upset, and showed no signs of depression. Her behavior was peculiar, even unsettling. After graduating from high school in 2018, Yu Jung isolated herself further, using the excuse of preparing for a government exam. To avoid social interactions, she remained financially dependent on her grandfather, who expected her to pass the exam and eventually find a job to repay him for his support. In 2017, Yu Jung applied for a job as a golf caddy but refused to speak during the interview, leading to her rejection. She later called the company to express her displeasure with their decision, showing her difficulty in communicating with others. Yu Jung's hatred for those who excelled in English may have driven her to target Hannah, a successful university student and English tutor. Hannah's achievements represented everything Yu Jung was not, which could have fueled her motivation to commit this heinous crime. Korean dramas or movies that were focused on identity theft or body switching, these types of shows are not uncommon in the entertainment industry, and it appears that Yu Jung was deeply influenced by them. She might have genuinely believed that she could take on someone else's identity by disposing of their body. This delusion points to a severe disconnect from reality and a dangerous obsession with the idea of stealing someone else's life. It's crucial to note that Yu Jung's actions cannot be attributed solely to her interest in true crime or her obsession with identity theft. Her actions involved a heinous crime, including murder and dismemberment. While she may have been influenced by her exposure to crime-related content, her motivations and actions are far more complex and deeply rooted in psychological issues. Her disinterest in socializing, her isolation, and her obsession with crime documentaries might have contributed to her desensitization to violence and death. However, it's important to remember that most people with similar interests in true crime do not commit violent acts. Yu Jung's actions are extreme and cannot be solely explained by her media consumption. Yu Jung's obsession and her descent into violence are indicative of severe psychological disturbances, and her crimes warrant a thorough examination by mental health professionals and law enforcement to determine her true motivations and culpability. The case of Chongya Jung is indeed a disturbing and complex one, with many unsettling aspects. Her obsession with true crime, her calculated approach to the crime, and her rapidly changing stories have left many questions and speculations about her motivations and mental state. It's essential to recognize that while consuming true crime content, such as movies or documentaries, may pique someone's curiosity about crime and its psychology, it does not inherently turn an individual into a criminal. Many people have an interest in true crime without resorting to violence or criminal activities. Chongya Jung's actions reflect severe psychological disturbances, including a lack of empathy, and the psychopathy test results only add to the complexity of her character. Her lies and changing narratives make it challenging to determine her true motivations, but the heinous nature of the crime she committed is undeniable. Her case serves as a reminder of the importance of early mental health intervention and support for individuals who may show signs of severe personality disorders or psychopathy. It also highlights the potential risks associated with tutoring apps or similar platforms where personal information is easily accessible. As the investigation unfolds and more details emerge, it is critical that the legal system and mental health professionals thoroughly assess her condition and motivations to ensure that justice is served and to prevent any further harm to society.